But when you can take that uniqueness, instead of saying, hey, I want to fit in, you go, hey, let's monetize this and make some money off of it. That's when you start to find self-love. So I am weird. I'm different. I'm never going to be able to fit in no matter how hard I try. And all of a sudden, now as a pro wrestler, all that stuff is good.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Wrestler of the Week. I'm Franco with Drew.
What's up?
Today we are joined by the future RCW Legends champion, Bulletproof Alex Arsenal.
Hey, that's me, baby.
He also has like 5 other titles, but I'm not gonna list all of
them. My apologies.
It's gonna be like this, yeah.
Yeah, you should have all 5 right now, actually.
Yeah, they weren't gonna fit in the frame.
I'd
get like a bigger computer or something like that.
That's a flex.
Mm-hmm.
Probably have him get cleaned.
They're also, I can't keep them all in the same place because if you hold them all at the same time, it's too dangerous, and I don't want someone else to get that kind of power. You know what I mean?
It's like
the fitting gauntlet, yeah.
Well, I tell you, need one more, which I mean, you might get this Saturday because I think it's 6 of them.
Yeah, that'll finish it out if a bottle of liquor counts as one of them. So
yeah. We usually start off with icebreaker questions. We changed that last week. Going forward, it will be word association. I don't know the name for it, but word association.
Okay.
So
got it.
we're giving you 9 words. Anything that comes to your mind. It can be the first word. It can be 10,000 words. Whatever you want to say.
Okay.
And then the last one will be something different. But we're starting off with Predator, 1987.
Oof. Okay. Dad. First thing comes because he was part of making that movie. That's the weirdest fun fact you'll ever get in your life. I'm sitting on the couch like a couple years ago watching it for the 957th time, and he goes, "Hey, I did that." I'm like, "What? I'm sorry, you did what?" So he worked for GE at the time, and he helped make the freaking infrared stuff. Like that's back before you could come up with an infrared filter on your phone. So they actually filmed like the costume and Arnold and infrared and stuff. And he was part of that. He's not a movie guy. Not a Hollywood guy, just somehow has something to do with Predator. Coolest thing in the world.
That's sick.
See, I was doing my research, going through your Instagram and all that, which nice pictures, by the way.
Thank you.
I saw that post and I was like, this can't be real. There's no way. I'm gonna list this and see if he even like remembers he posted that.
Yeah, no, that sounds made up. I don't blame you. I still think maybe my dad made it up. I don't know.
That's pretty.
He's not listed. He's not in the credits, so I mean, he could have made it
up. Second one, internet.
Internet champion. I'm the champion of the internet, baby. Which, by the way, you guys, going forward, you need to talk to me before you do anything else on the internet. Drew, we have a lot to talk about at 3 a.m, but otherwise, guys, anything you're going to look at, anything you're going to do, any other kind of podcast, you need to go through me first. I need to approve it all. Okay, it needs to be on my desk, and I can veto it, approve it. One or the other, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I understand now.
Bulletproof.
Myself, bulletproof is not just a pickup line. Contrary to popular belief. All right. I saw someone comment that on one of your posts. Bulletproof is my version, my little motivational moniker, right? I feel like to be bulletproof, it doesn't actually mean the bullets bounce off you or you're doing the Neo from the Matrix thing. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's more like 50 Cent bulletproof is what I try and be in my life. Get shot 9 times, keep getting back up, keep going, right? So whatever you're coming at me with in the ring, if you're stronger than me, faster than me, meaner than me, whatever, or just same thing in real life, we're stuck at a red light and you're a Karen and you're going to yell at me or whatever. I'm ready for anything, baby. I'm bulletproof. Not because I'm better than you or I'm stronger or meaner or smarter, but just because I'm going to keep getting back up no matter how many times I get shot, just like 50 Cent.
What's your favorite 50 Cent song?
Into Club. Despite using him in that analogy, that's the only song of his I know. But yeah, totally favorite.
Pickles. I
have an interesting relationship with pickles in this industry. This is a weird industry. I should have just been a dentist, honestly. So I believe the pickle fiasco started in Laredo, where I was offered a pickle by Lieutenant Dan during my match. As any brilliant tactician such as myself would do, I took a little breather in the middle of a triple threat and let the other 2 guys kind of wear themselves out. I had a pickle. And, I realized, too, it tasted great, but also helps with cramps. You get those electrolytes in there, right? Which is a big deal when you're wrestling in a crappy little shed, somewhere where it's 155,000 degrees. You look it up. And so, yeah, Pickles, me and Pickles, we go back. It's kind of my thing going forward. I think I'm going to be, like a certain wrestler maybe goes under the ring for a sledgehammer. It's kind of his thing or whatever. Let's just say hypothetically. What if my thing was like a jar of pickles? You never know, right? That could be my thing going forward.
Yeah. I can get in my eyes and like I'm doomed,
there's
you
so
know?
many possibilities.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Allergy, that's just game over.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it worse. Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. Beneath me. I don't drink soda.
Wow.
Can you get abs like this? Actually, you know what? Never mind. That's only for my OnlyFans. But just trust me. Underneath this shirt, you don't get that way with Dr. Pepper. All right. So if you do drink Dr. Pepper, I'm not saying you should feel bad about yourself. I'm just saying there's a possibility you might, and that's okay.
You should, Franco.
I should. I'm drinking water right now. Peaches.
There we go. Attaboy. I'm sorry, what?
Peaches.
Peaches. Oh, well, there's only so much room.
That's the clean version.
Yeah. So real estate is a big thing in wrestling. And by that, I mean advertising real estate. So not every crowd, despite my fame, not every crowd I'm in front of has, seen me or heard of me before. So you got to get your name out there, right? A lot of wrestlers, they put their name on their gear. Me, I did that. But thanks to my, what was the PG word we're using? Peach. I have an incredible amount of real estate, and no one, particularly women between the age of like 45 and 60, ever forget my name after a match because of where I have my name listed right there on that peach, baby. Smart real estate advertising right there.
This is one from Drew. Prime.
Oh, man. Yeah, again, I don't want to say you're beneath me. If you drink Prime. I'm just saying I'm more of an all-natural electrolytes guy, so maybe pick going forward. I'm not saying you got to carry a jar of pickles to the gym with you. I'm just saying it might help with sodium and potassium levels better than a Prime. Might even be cheaper and have less xanthan gum in it. Go look at the back of Prime. Read ingredient number 572 where it says xanthan gum. You can tell me you feel comfortable putting that in your body. All right. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't sound good to me.
Yeah, it does.
Legend.
Me in the future, particularly Saturday with RCW. Right. I mean, future legends champion. Right. That's not. I'm not a current legend. You got to be old to be a legend. So I think future legend is the perfect name for me. And that'll be the perfect belt. And then I'll have all 6. And then half of us disappear, baby.
Wait, what?
You're not getting the reference?
No, I do. But we're disappearing? Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. But...
Yeah. Oh, this is the moment where I tell you about my supervillain plans.
So then one of us is going to be here next week. So, okay.
That's how that works. Yeah.
Not much to do.
Let's see. Conan O'Brien.
Ooh, man. I would say when you watch me in the ring and you ask most wrestlers, I'm sure on your show, who their influences are, right? And they're like The Rock, Austin, right? One of mine is going to be Conan O'Brien.
Yep.
Partially would be the Irish heritage that we share. I feel like there's no better fighting spirit than to be an Irishman. But I know this particular Irish guy is not well known for being the most hardcore fighter, we'll say, right? But you know what I like? I feel like there's no one harder to control, there's no one harder to contain than a comedian, right? Someone who's going to be funny no matter what. Especially someone who makes fun of the people with power. And that's what if you actually watch a lot of Conan's humor, it's either making fun of himself, right? Rather than the people around him, or criticizing literally like the companies that are running his show or refusing to run his show, the people in power. And so that's what I like the most. I think that honestly, I know plenty of other cultures have the spirit like the Alamo, the Last Stand, and these fighting. The thing about Irish people is it's just like you can literally cut me into pieces. You can take all my money. You can murder everyone I've ever met. And I'm still just going to be making fun of you and laughing at you with my last breath. I'm just going to piss you off. That's the goal. Like I get the last laugh, even if you win everything else. And so it's such a deeper explanation than you were expecting for a late night TV host. But I find that more relatable. Someone who's a nerdy, weird looking goofball, but still finds a way to like monetize that. Right. So I believe it or not, as cool as I look now, I wasn't always this guy. I too have been not the most popular person in the world at one point in my life. But when you can take that uniqueness, instead of saying, hey, I want to fit in, you go, hey, let's monetize this and make some money off of it. that's when you start to find self-love. So I am weird. I'm different. I'm never going to be able to fit in no matter how hard I try. And all of a sudden, now as a pro wrestler, all that stuff is good. And I love that.
Oh yeah, we got to make sure to tag Conan O'Brien for that. Team Coco. No, straight up.
Coco.
It's a perfect response.
Mhm.
I actually love Conan O'Brien. He's my
There
favorite.
you
Oh, yeah. He's my number one for sure.
The last thing is top 10 things in your arsenal.
Top 10 things. How long do we have? Is this got to be in order? Because that's going to be tougher for me.
At least the top 5 in order.
Oh, you're supposed to say no. Don't worry about it. Okay.
go.
All right. The top 10 things in my arsenal. So the first 5 are in order. So you want those just randomly. The ability to solve a Rubik's Cube, right?
Oh,
Is definitely up there. Do I have to prove these things to you? I don't have 3 items handy because I didn't realize there was going to be a test.
It'll make the podcast more interesting if you do.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, and these are
many
3
talents.
random items that I just found that weigh different amounts too, and are very weird and different, hard to juggle. But baby, juggling's in my arsenal right there. All right. I don't know how useful that's going to be in the ring, but at some point, it's going to make an appearance.
You
So
can
that's
distract
2.
somebody.
I am extremely proficient at Dance Dance Revolution. As far as white guys go at an arcade, I think I'm like the world champion. All right. So the pecking order was always, if the dude is from like Japan, you don't even challenge him. Like you could just bow down, you give him he can have the DDR pad, right? If it's a gothic Mexican kid, now this might be a group you didn't know existed, but if you go to the arcades, especially in the 90s and 2000s, the gothic Mexican kid with like the chains everywhere, don't mess with him. He's gonna beat you. After that, boom, it was me, baby. DDR on heavy. Doesn't matter. I can do almost any song. All right. So again, maybe not very useful, but I'm really good at it. So I got that in my arsenal.
Okay.
What are we at? 3? I told you this is going to take a while. I have many talents. So 4, I can shatter, not beat. I can utterly obliterate the world record for most one-handed claps in under a minute, which is 200. Yeah. And now, if this is just a pure audio format and they're not watching the video, and they
yeah.
then you're going to have to probably change
Explain
the
some
rating
stuff.
PG.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
I am promise you, for anyone just listening, I am clapping with one hand. And the record is 252. I can do 360 on the dot. So, I mean,
Dude, shattered, like you just said.
Shattered.
Yeah, shattered.
It costs too much money. It takes too much time to actually get in touch with the Guinness people. But it's just, I would be in that book if I wanted to be. So that's pretty cool.
Hey.
Okay. So we're at 4. All of these are extremely useful talents, by the way. Right. Okay. Then number 5, I am good at backflips. I'm a backflip guy. Not everyone can do a backflip, but even those who can, it's my thing. I'm just any occasion for backflip. So like my ID for different places, my library card, my gym card, all my pictures of me doing a backflip, right? It's just my thing. So it doesn't. I'm a big thick boy now, and let's just say I don't do too many acrobatic maneuvers in the ring, or at least as many as I used to. But if you see a match with me in it, there's like I'd say an 83.79% chance you're still gonna see a backflip in there somewhere.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Okay, then we got to do the top 5. Oh, in order. Okay, so now a little more focused on how about the wrestling. So number 5, I'm a very proficient technical wrestler. I wrestled in high school for several years, and so I remember the day I went on to WikiHow, I think is what it's called, WikiHow, and it like shows you how it's like how to do things like for an idiot, like how to cook eggs. Yeah. And I found how to be a pro wrestler, and I was just a kid, and I remember one of the things it listed was 3 years of amateur wrestling, and so I got exactly 3 years because that's what it said, and like 3 years of the most difficult sport, particularly for a teenager to put themselves through, where you're completely by yourself and you're in these tight little things in front of cheerleaders getting your ass kicked. That's a lot to go through just because you saw it listed as one of the things you need on the internet. But I did that, and it did pay off. I was a little taken aback and surprised in a good way when I got into this industry and I realized how proficient I was at, the more technical aspects like chain wrestling than a lot of other guys. So that's been an advantage of mine, right? But I'm bulletproof, and I'm Alex Arsenal. I got everything in my arsenal. So mat wrestling, technical wrestling is fun and is as sexy as that can totally be. That's number 5. 4, I'm going to have to say big guy strong stuff. That's the best way to describe it. All right, you always want what you can't have, right? So I was always a skinny little dude. I wrestled at like 112, I think maybe 135 at my senior year. So I'm an adult. I've finished puberty. I'm 135 pounds. I'm eating everything I can. I still can't gain weight. So I was never the strong guy on the football team or the wrestling team or whatever. So now you guys never met that version. You've only met this version of me who spent the last 10 years trying to get as big and strong as possible. So again, you come see a match of mine, you've got at least a 93.74% chance of seeing me pick the other guy up and twirl him around or catch him off the top rope or toss him over the top rope. And I'm very proud of that. All right. I know there's a lot of big men in this industry, but I don't know how many are artificial big men. That's what I would call myself. I made myself at least a medium-sized man. We can all agree on that. How about that? So big guy, strong stuff. Okay, so that's in order. We got 5, 4. So that puts me at 3. I'm a striker. That was definitely one of my weaknesses when I got in. I had done a grand total of 3 days of like an MMA class in my whole life. So I was a pretty proficient fighter from wrestling. And I've never had an issue in like a bar fight or anything in college. But guess what? Because most average dudes who don't know what they're doing, once you take them down, they're screwed, right? So I kind of never had the need. Then I got into wrestling and people started socking me right in the face. And I was like, okay, here we go. We got a weakness. I got something I got to work on. So if you had seen most recently, like my match in BOW, that was probably an 8-minute match with 5 or 6 minutes of pure striking at the beginning. That's all we did. I've got lumps and bruises everywhere on me. I'm still not the best in it. I know, but it's a weakness of mine. So it's something I'm working on. Part of being bulletproof, like Alex Arsenal, is not just playing to your strengths, but working on your weaknesses. So even if it's not really number 3, I put it at number 3 because it's one of my top priorities. So again, I'm going to come back to it one more time. I'm going to say, when you come to an Alex Arsenal match now, this complete package I put together, you've got at least a 73.25% chance of seeing some serious kicks to the face, jabs, all that good stuff. And I'm a little bit better at blocking things without just my forehead and actually trying to block those hits before they go through too. All right, so striking. All right, number 2, lucha. Yep. I have caught myself off guard with it when I got into this industry, realizing how much I really like lucha specifically. And thankfully, I had a little bit of experience in Texas, but thankfully I got an opportunity to go train with Pantera in Mexico for 3 weeks right before the pandemic. And that was life-changing, right? The whole experience. And we could do a whole podcast on my experience in Mexico. But I'll just say, when I came back and I had already been calling myself Alex Arsenal and saying I got everything in my arsenal, and people would always try and come up with something I didn't have. Lucha was one of those soft spots, those weak spots for me. And I came back from there and I started doing everything the way they do it over in Mexico because that's all I had been doing for a couple of weeks. I think that really rounded out my skill set a lot. So again, I just said I wouldn't go back to it again, but here I am. If you come to an Alex Arsenal match, you have at least, I'll say, a 59.73% chance of seeing some serious lucha, whether it's arm drags or the way they do their suplexes, or even that fancy little thing where you run up against the ropes and then do a handspring off of it, backflip. Baby, for someone who's 218, I think it's kind of cool that that's still in my arsenal. All right, so we got the lucha going on. All right, number 1. You're wondering what's left. I went through all the cool stuff you could do. You're wondering, okay, what is he going to whip out and say he's like great at hardcore or something like that? No. Listen here. What's the biggest aspect of this industry I haven't talked about yet? Put a microphone in my hand.
Oh, yeah.
No warning, no heads up, no nothing. All right, let me just put it this way. We were at a particular show a couple of months ago now, about 2-3 months ago, and let's just say the promoter was freaking out a little bit. They were paid by the venue owner to put on a 4-hour show, and we were way ahead of schedule. Some of these jerks in pro wrestling just go out there and they just beat the hell out of their opponent in 2 minutes, and then they don't understand. Sometimes you got to drag it out, right? You got to drag out that suffering, even if you're dominating the match, because people paid for 4 hours. So, you know what I did to save the day? I went out there and I beat my guy up in 2 minutes, so that didn't really help either. I'm a little bit of a hypocrite there. I grabbed that microphone, 30 minutes. Now, I'm rounding up, so it's 20-ish, but you get the point. Nonstop. I had everybody laughing. Then I had everybody angry at me. Then I had a few people crying. I had one lady try and kiss me. I stole some merchandise from our little. There was like a Shield knockoff team there. I put them in their place. I'm telling you what, man. Give me that microphone. That's my safe space. Because I told you I did the wrestling in high school. You know what else I did in high school? I was in an improv troupe. You guys ever watch Whose Line Is It Anyway? Yeah.
No.
That was my favorite thing I think I've ever done until I got into wrestling. That was the biggest high I'd ever gotten, that rush in front of that crowd. I love it. Everybody else freaks out. You want a promo? You want them on a podcast? You want whatever? They start sweating. Like, what do I say? That ain't me, baby. I don't need you. Just shut up. Give me that microphone. I'll go for an hour. I love it. I love talking. I don't know if you guys could tell. I love talking.
Well, you just did a 10-minute promo right now, basically.
So there it is. That's number 1 in the arsenal, baby.
Hell yeah. Shit, that was the best response we've ever had.
Yeah. I'm about to clip that whole 10 minutes. I'm going to knock out social media questions because there's just a few.
Okay.
From Brendan Galvan, what makes him so bulletproof? Which you've kind of already gone over, but if you want to go over more.
Yeah. Again, the idea behind Bulletproof is working on everything, not just your strengths. I think we do that. I think everybody does it, right? If you actually pay attention, a lot of times you get your dopamine rush from doing the easy stuff, whatever you're already good at. You know, your friends come over and if you're the world's greatest Smash Bros player, that's all you want to do, right? You want to play Smash. But I've always been big on trying to work on my weaknesses as well, not just playing your strengths. So if I was a creator wrestler in one of those 2K games, I never liked the idea of just being a 10 in this category, but then a 4 down here in some other category, right? Even if they've all got to be even, if every wrestler is only going to get 50 stat points, so no one can have more than the other, I wanted to be like even across the board as high as possible rather than just uneven, right? So I wanted to work on everything, but I feel like that's a good philosophy to go through life, is trying to work on your weaknesses. That makes you more bulletproof, right? So again, when you get hit, when you get shot, it's not about just being able to dodge those bullets. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's your first line of defense in your arsenal. Maybe you've got a magic force field. Maybe you got that in your arsenal and bounce some of those bullets off you, right? But occasionally you're going to get hit. So you also need in your arsenal the ability to get up and keep going and shrug it off, just like 50 Cent did in 2000. I don't know when he got shot, but all of a sudden forget Conan O'Brien. 50 Cent's my new hero for some reason. All right. Him and I are bulletproof, baby.
So, like, Franco, when you release the promo pic of Arsenal and his quote, just put 50 Cent in the club music in the background.
Matt's put his face over his movie poster.
Yeah. Was it one of his albums? I think it was like a glass window in front of him with a bullet hole.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Nothing. Yeah, so that's very similar to my style, my bulletproof. I mean, all my gear has bullet holes on it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When's the first time you used Bulletproof Alex Arsenal? Do you remember?
I want to say Galactic Pro, probably a little bit before I won that championship. So that's 2019. So probably a few months before December 2019. I went through a lot of other monikers, but that's one we ended up on. The only downside so far is I've had multiple kids either ask me or ask their parents, like, is he really bulletproof? And I just, it's a metaphor, kids. Don't go trying it out. Right? If you have access to a gun, please do not try this theory out. It's a metaphor.
Yep.
Oh, Drew moved. Okay.
What happened? Oh.
You left for some reason.
Because I snapped.
Let's see, what's the next one?
Leave that in.
From Tommy Aurora, what is your preferred match length and why?
Oof. Well, I just told you earlier, I think the problem is, even when you're dominating, a 2-minute match, no one wants to see that. You got to drag it out. You got to make the suffering worth it, right? Also, I didn't list this in you only gave me 10 spots for my things I'm good at, right? So, you should have given me 432. But number 11 on that list is cardio, baby. Endurance has always been my thing. Remember that spiel I just went off of about how you always want what you can't have. And I always wish I was bigger and stronger. Well, there is a yin and a yang to the universe, right? There's always a balance. I did have the endurance. I was that little kid that could, run a mile in like 5:45 without training for it, right? And there's a lot of people that would kill for that. And I was very grateful. I always wanted what I couldn't have, but I always was happy that I did have certain things like that. So endurance has always been my thing. My first day of wrestling training, I showed up. I had the flu for 2 weeks. This was week number 3, and I still kicked everybody's butt at all the blow up drills and everything because I was in that good a shape that the sickest I've ever been. I could still hang with these professional athletes, and I've always been very proud of that. So, longest answer to your question ever, but I say a long match. I like 22 and a half minutes. That's my preferred match. Gives me lots of time to enjoy it, to show you everything in my arsenal, to cut a promo in there for some reason, just because I like doing that, and to show off my endurance.
Have you done an Ironman match yet?
I have. I've done 2, but I've done 2. One was 30 minutes, one was 20 minutes. So I have not done an hour Ironman match. That's on the bucket list for sure.
So I want to see you in an Ironman match, hour long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I just talked a big game. Now I got to deliver. I might do some actually. I might head to the gym, get on that treadmill.
From Naf, he has the same question, makes you bulletproof, but the other one's your go-to pickup line.
Go-to pickup. Oh, okay. I used one great the other day. Oh man, baby, great success with this one. So, okay. What's it called where you're into? You think you're an Aquarius or a Leo or a?
Oh yeah.
Help me out here, boy.
Horoscope.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something else. Astrology. There it is.
Astrology.
Who's an astrologist, I think, is what you would call it. And she was talking about me being a Leo, whatever. And then I looked at her and said, "You're a Cancer, aren't you?" And she said, "No, I'm a, whatever she said, I'm a Scorpio." And I went, No. I mean like a Cancer to society, right? And it sounds like a horrible insult, which it is. But I mean, you didn't see that one coming, did you? So yeah. I had her in tears. And I guess you call that negging, where you insult someone, but you're really trying to flirt. I'll tell you, it worked really, really well. I was just trying to be mean. I wasn't even trying to pick her up, but it just happened to work.
There you go. People who are watching needs advice, just insult them. It might fucking
be a terrible person, first of all.
Yeah,
that's a great one. And then go after astrologists. They're the weakest. You can take them.
There you go.
Is that also in your arsenal? Terrible person?
Yes. Everything is in my arsenal except for astrology, because that's beneath me. And Dr. Pepper and Prime.
Yep. Okay.
What's your opinion on Logan Paul?
I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion, and I'm not just trying to be polite. I'll let you know when I meet the guy. I'll give you a further assessment. Seems like a great athlete. I mean, no Alex Arsenal, but seems like a great athlete.
Mm-hmm.
The last one from Corvus, not a question, but a comment. Would.
Yeah, I agree. I also would. Not Corvus, but I mean, if I wasn't me, then I would. Looking at a picture of me, yeah.
Oh shit, dude! I love this interview. Yeah, we're gonna sidetrack a little bit about workouts, about you, your physique. What's the most you lifted from bench, deadlift, and squat, etc. PR?
Okay, my PR is there. So I'm not a 1 rep guy anymore.
Okay.
I don't think the risk to reward ratio is that good. So people get a little disappointed in my answer because I couldn't tell you for sure what my 1 rep is on really anything. I can give you an estimate, but I'll go down to 3 reps is probably my heaviest stuff that I do. 3. So you bench press 315. I was very proud of that. I feel like 315, the 3 plates, for reps, that's medium sized guy numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The big boy numbers. For someone who can still do like a 6-minute mile, I feel like that's awesome. So I was probably most proud of that. My squats at about 445 for 3, and then deadlift is 475. So those I was really proud when I did hit the 1,000-pound club a couple years ago, where you do 1 rep. You try and get 1,000 pounds between the 3 of them. But I'm even more proud now to say my 3 rep maxes between the 3 of them is like 1,200 almost.
Shit.
Yeah.
Good shit, dude. I see like majority of your. I'm pretty sure everybody sees it, but I see your videos and I'm just like. I literally just work out sometimes when I see. I'm just like, I feel like a lazy piece of shit when I see your shit, when I see your stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm over here thinking I banged it hard in the gym, then I see you. I'm just like, dude, fuck this shit. Like, God damn it.
I guess that's a good thing. I'm trying to be motivating.
No, it is.
You're drinking your prime. I mean, it is what it is. I can't help you. Sitting there sipping on Dr. Pepper. It's pickles, man. That's where it's at. That's going to be your hook for this podcast, your trailer. get people brought in. Pickles, baby.
If you were to get sponsored by a brand, which pickles would it be?
Vlasic. That's the only one I can name. Right? They're called Vlasic. Yeah. I can name 472 brands, but I love Vlasic. My name is Alex Arsenal, and there is no pickle I would put in my mouth before a Vlasic pickle.
That's a good ad right there. So when it comes to workouts, what's your schedule like? Is it push-pull legs, or do you just indifferent, or does it also relate to like if you're cutting, you're going heavy? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
what's it like?
Changes a little, but yeah, you actually hit the nail on the head. So I go legs, push-pull. I prioritize legs first, as I think it's the most important for an all-around athlete. That's where you get your power from, right? So I try not to break the muscle groups down too much because you don't get functional strength from just working out, one muscle by itself too much, right? That's great for bodybuilding, but I want to be a great athlete in the ring. But I found the legs push pull works really well. All the pushing muscles together, all the pulling muscles together, all the leg muscles together. And I alternate what the primary lift is. So on a leg day, the primary lift might be squats, right? Because everything after that's going to suffer a little bit after you've already used so much energy on the squat. So the next leg day, the primary lift would be a deadlift so that can get a little more focused, right? So on your push day, one day it's bench, one day it's overhead press, right? And on your pull day, one day it's pull-ups or something like that for your lats. And then the other day it'll be like bent over row. So different priorities on different days, push, pull legs like we're talking about. And then 2 days on, 1 day off. That's kind of my work to rest ratio that I found works best for me. That's a little more rest than some people realize. But I found I plateau real hard if I'm just grinding my body into dust every day without taking any rest days, right? And then rep ranges kind of change all over the place again as an all-around athlete. You need to be an all-around athlete for wrestling, but even within wrestling, like I said, I try and have everything in my arsenal, right? So I don't want to just be strong. I want to have muscle endurance, but also cardiovascular endurance. So the two most popular rep ranges are about like 3 to 5 reps and then like 20 to 25 reps. So you've got some raw strength and then you've got muscle endurance in there as well.
Got you. Hell yeah. Sounds good. All right. So I started doing this new thing last week with Eddie Martinez. I'm going to list 5 major promotions.
Okay.
And I want you to give me 5 opponents from each of the companies you will love to work with on your first day.
Jeez, that's 25 if my math is correct. That's 25 wrestlers.
No, sorry. 1 opponent.
Yeah. Okay. I had a feeling that's what you meant. Thank God.
Yeah. Let's go with Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Joe counts for sure right now, right?
Yeah, Samoa Joe. Yeah, sure. New Japan.
Oh man, the girl that wrestled Omega, the 11-year-old girl. Next, easy. I'm just naming the top people in each promotion. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. that's
Impact. Oh man, I got some buddies in there right now. He's not currently with them, but I know he's coming back any day now. Sledge, my man. I've wrestled Sledge before at Galactic Pro. It was one of my favorites ever. So he did a little brief stint with him, and I'm pretty sure he's making a hardcore comeback real soon. And so even if he doesn't count officially to answer your question, let's just play this part of the podcast in a few months when he's back and he's kicking butt again, right? And then he's my pick for Impact.
I mean, he technically has worked for them. I think he worked at one time Eli Drake, who's now at LA Knight now, at one time. So AEW.
AEW, the 11-year-old girl hasn't done anything with them, right? So I can't pick her twice anyway. Okay. I mean, I wanted to give you a more creative answer, but honestly, right off the top of my head, it's gonna be, you know who I'm gonna say, Bryan Danielson, right? I mean, come on. I feel like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not the most common one. You probably actually get a better variety of answers than I assumed. But yeah, I mean, that one for me, that's got to be my dude. I have some lineage that connects to him in the wrestling world, for sure.
Okay.
Can we hear that?
Yeah. So I actually trained where Daniel Bryan trained, or Bryan Danielson, in the same place. I haven't worked with William Regal, which was the next step in his training process that everybody always talks about, and then he's got in his biography. But we have similar roots. Him and I went to San Antonio at the same day without knowing it when the Spurs won in '99. I was a little kid. My family came here to celebrate. And if you read Brian's biography, he was just here for wrestling school, and he slept in his car, and he couldn't sleep because everyone was honking their horns all night, and he had no idea why. Because he happened to show up right here on the day the Spurs won. So we were both
I did not know
at the same time 24 years ago, and then we both went to the same school. And yeah, I'm sure we'll get to wrestle one day.
Nice. The dream match.
Mhm.
Now the WWE.
Ziggler.
Oh, hell of an answer.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was ready for that one for sure. I was ready for that one because that's a tough one. There's plenty of other ones. Don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's got to be Ziggler right now for sure. And that would have been my answer at least for 10 years going right now. I think we have similar looks and styles and stuff like that in a way, which in wrestling can create some pretty incredible magic. A little fight fire with fire type thing. But yeah, he's been someone I've modeled, along with Conan O'Brien, someone I've modeled my in-ring career after very thoroughly. And 50 Cent, of course, and the
Oh,
11-year-old
sure.
girl from Wrestle Kenny Omega. But yeah, those are my main influences. So yeah, it would definitely be Ziggler.
Hell yeah. All the answers. Franco, what do you got next?
Let's take it back to the beginning. What was do you remember the moment you wanted to become a wrestler?
Oh yeah. I mean, there were many, right? There's different levels where you're like, oh no, I for sure want to do this now. But if we want to go back to the first time where it really the inception of it, WCW came to Abilene, Texas, where I was living, and we got to go see a WCW house show. And it was like the current roster for Thunder or something came through. I remember I could sit here and name a bunch of the guys that were on the show, but highlight for me was Bulldog, Ric Flair, British Bulldog, right? Wrestling. Flair gets his pants pulled down. His trunks get pulled down. That at the time would have been already a late 50s. Butt cheek is flapping around in the cool Abilene air. And I knew, you know what? As a 4-year-old, I was like, this is the thing. This is the thing I have to do for the rest of my life. That's me, baby. I could be that. I could be that peach flapping around, and that could be me one day. If I say my prayers and eat my vitamins, that could be me one day.
What were the other moments that you said you? Those different
Um,
moments.
so other like really motivational or like impactful moments from being a kid. My age almost doesn't match up. I'm not quite old enough, but I swear somehow, some way, my earliest memories go back to Sean skinning the cat in the Royal Rumble. And just seeing that and thinking again, same thing like as a kid playing on the playground, like that's the coolest. That was the coolest move I'd ever seen. That was cooler than anything else, right? And then the NWO starting and Hogan. I think when it comes to storytelling, Hulk Hogan being the third man and starting off the NWO and being a bad guy and really making little kids like me cry, like that was a very impactful moment that stuck with me for the rest of my life. And again, something where later as an adult, I went back and like, that's the kind of emotion I want to elicit in other people, right? So I feel like almost retroactively, that was maybe the moment that made me want to do it. And then moving forward from there, I was flipping through the channels one time as a middle schooler trying to be like too cool for wrestling. I don't watch that anymore. I just watch SpongeBob or whatever was cooler than wrestling. I don't know. And then I end up accidentally stumbling across Edge versus Matt Hardy right after everything had happened with Lita.
Right, yeah.
Need I say more? And it was one of because they had a couple. I had quite a few matches, but it's just one they had on Raw that just went crazy. They go out and fight everywhere, and they're on the stage, and fireworks are going off and stuff. And it was just so raw, no pun intended, on Monday Night Raw, and vicious and stuff that it was really impactful too. And I remember being just that right age, middle school age, of like still want to be a rock star and an astronaut and all these. You're going to be a ninja when you get older, right? You just are for some reason. You're going to be a professional ninja and all these things. And wrestler was one of them. And then like I was just old enough as a 13-year-old to be like, no, like for real, like I actually am going to do that. I'm not actually going to be a ninja, but like what those guys are doing right now, I'm not saying it looks easy. I'm just saying something about that looks like I could do it. And so I'm like, I knew like then I think I want to do it. And then the last one, because you wanted to hear all of them, the last one was just a few years later. I think same thing. There was that doubt about like, no, are you really going to do it though? Like that's a crazy thing to do. Strip down your underwear, get all oiled up and go wrestle with a bunch of big dudes. Like, are you really, really going to do it? You could be a dentist. And I went to a Monday Night Raw. And so I'm 15, 16, I think I'm 15. And the main event was Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy. And again, it was the same. It sounds so weird because you have these two incredible guys. So I'm not saying I saw it and went, oh, that's easy, I could do that. It's kind of the opposite. Like, oh, that's incredibly amazing and impressive, but still somehow it gives you that connection of like, I don't know if I can do it, but I want to.
Yeah.
It felt so real that again, like I think 15, as young as that may sound to us talking about it right now, I think I was old enough then to realize how crazy it is to be a pro wrestler when you grow up, but still told myself, you know what? I'm doing it. I don't care. I don't care if people are going to laugh at me. I'm 102 pounds. Doesn't sound realistic. I don't care. I don't care if I can do it. I'll never be Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy. I don't care. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it, baby.
You like how the challenge looks.
I think so.
You know,
I think that may be a good way to describe it. You know,
yeah,
it was like a worthy
that's
pursuit. Good. Whether or not I can achieve it is almost irrelevant. It just seemed like something worth working towards.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's cool.
And was that the plan going forward, or did you have like a plan B?
No, that was by that point. I think that was plan A for sure. If there was a plan B, I mean, I always knew I wanted to be a personal trainer. Also, that's not really plan B. It's like a side quest, if you will, right? I always knew I had some side quests I wanted to accomplish. So that was definitely one of them, but those coincide and so well that, again, they don't contradict in any way. So I knew I could do both. And then the only other passion in life, like, you know, you can walk across the street and get hit by a bus tomorrow, right? It could happen to anybody. And so I thought, you know, if something crazy were to happen, but I'm still around, and I just got to do something in my brain. I think the other thing I was most passionate about was screenwriting. Oh, again, I always liked the storytelling aspect of wrestling more than anything else. I love the cool moves, right? But I always loved the storytelling aspect so much. I always thought that'd be really cool to, you know, write movies or whatever it is. But here we are in 2023. Man, if I had pursued that, I'd be, I don't know how I'd feel right now because AI is replacing everybody. There's a writer's strike. There's all this stuff. It's funny how life works that way. Like these two followed. And like, I mean, I wish the best for them. I hope everything works out. But I do really feel like even if I was already doing really well at that for some reason at this age, it's still pretty depressing. Like just the challenges they're going to have to deal with technology. And then that's really cool with wrestling. This footage could make me sound dumb in 5 years because maybe they'll come up with some androids that wrestle more entertainingly than wrestlers. But I really do feel like we might be involved in like one of the last things that could possibly be replaced by like AI. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody's ever going to care about watching like two CGI deepfake people wrestle as much as watching two real people go at it. I'm sure someday, but probably not in our lifetime. So we're good. My grandkids can worry about that if they want to be wrestlers.
Yeah.
It's been 100,000 years.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you can replay this, but that would be horrible in my opinion. I think that would not be entertaining at all.
Yeah,
but you never know. But
Oh,
you know, like that, like the BattleBots show and stuff that like Mick Foley.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That should be like in all the sci-fi movies. That's always the future. Everyone's always ready for that to be a thing. It just hasn't taken off truly yet. Because for some reason, like it's neat, but it's not really that interesting to watch two robots fight or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And
like
so
real,
if you could,
still.
yeah. If you could make real like super robots that could like play football, would you really care? You want to see what humans are best in UFC. You want to see what humans can play football the best. You don't really care that there are better robots out there. So to be replaced by AI, I think we're the safest, oddly enough. So all those people that told me I should have been a damn dentist were all wrong. Because 5 years from now, a robot will be replacing dentists, and we'll be sitting pretty, getting all our hot cakes, baby.
What's been the hardest thing you had to learn in the business?
Man, probably the Canadian destroyer. No, I would say the Canadians are easy. The Canadian destroyer is super easy. The hardest thing I had to learn in the business is just a good lesson for life, like overall, like loyalty. And not just the value of loyalty. I could leave it there, but like the art of loyalty. I think, and this probably applies to virtually every human being on the planet alive right now. There are people that you should invest your time in and people you shouldn't, and it's really hard to figure that out. And when someone gives you the signals that you're going down the wrong path, you should take those signals. You should see those red flags and maybe go off another way. A really good analogy someone gave me one time was like the sunken cost fallacy or doubling down when you're gambling. It's kind of the same thing, right? So if someone sells you $1,000 vacuum cleaner, but then they're like, well, you got to get the $500 attachment or the $1,000 was wasted. You're like, well, shoot, I guess I'll buy that. And then they're like, well, you got to get this other $500 like extender or you're not going to be able to plug it in, right? So you keep putting more money into it. You got to be careful where you pour your time, you know? I'm not 19. And so I think I was born to do this and I'm doing great and I'm very happy and proud of that. But I know I got to be very selective with where I put my time and my effort, and my energy. And wrestling has taught me that for sure. It's a very interesting business and I'm not bitter about it yet. I'm not a grizzly old vet yet, but it has taught me a lot about life and where to put my time and how to value my own time.
So you kind of answered one of the questions. I think we're gonna bring it up, Franco, about the whole social media um, question. But yeah, I don't know about you. You were so much involved with screenwriting. You love to do that. Kind of makes sense with the whole Conan O'Brien. You know, you love entertaining this and that. So when it comes to social media, like your stuff is hilarious. There's a lot of puns, you know, this and that. So what's the process of that? Do you just like say what comes to your mind, you write it, you know, you post it, or you just have it all planned out?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I'm just like anybody else. Sometimes, yeah, stuff just pops in. You're like, this is funny or this is entertaining to me, so I think other people would enjoy it, right? But part of the theme that I'm kind of struggling with on social media is like playing the game, but also critiquing it or criticizing it at the same time. So, a huge percentage of my posts are, or at least the caption, if not the whole post, of the picture and everything, is kind of antagonistic towards stereotypes, things that people do
Mhm.
stereotypically and stuff like that. So I'm sitting here trying to like tear down social media like I'm cooler than it, but I'm also participating in it at the same time. So it sounds like I'm taking it too serious and almost going too deep with this answer, but I really do feel like it's another one of those lessons I had to learn in life about like maybe you have to play the game in order to change the game a little bit. And so I enjoy it. I enjoy the social media experience. I'm not too cool to say that. But yeah, there's a lot of sarcasm there in my stuff, and it's very antagonistic, I think is the right way. Because it is something that maybe we all take too seriously. And like
Mhm.
I do like to tear it down a lot. I mean, someone told me the other day, Instagram isn't innovative with its technology so much as it's a social excuse to post a bunch of pictures of yourself. Like there wasn't a reason. If you did that before, you were a narcissist, but now you go, well, I mean, it's Instagram, it's the whole point, I have to, right?
Yeah.
TikTok isn't. It's not that the technology was that much like way better than anything that had come before it. It's that it was a social excuse to take someone else's work and then just replicate it. So you do a trend, and it's really you just taking another artist's thing and then you're doing it yourself, but not giving them any credit because you are supposed to do that on TikTok. You do trends, and so again, these are my criticisms of the thing. But like at the same time, like there are far greater evils in the world. So I don't blame anybody for participating in these social media things. But there's that rebel in me, that Irish rebel I was telling you about, where there has to be like a little sarcasm. So if it's a picture of me flexing in my underwear where I'm trying to look really good, I still have to take a little dig at either myself or people who look like me or people that I remind myself of or something. You know what I mean? There has to be a little, because like I just can't give in 100% and accept it as normal. I still think it's weird. We're monkeys all typing on this computer that we don't know how to deal with this thing. So I have to make fun of it, but participate at the same time. And I think if you look at it that way, you can start to see where these like captions and stuff come from. It's like genuine at times, but there has to be at least a hashtag. If you scroll to the bottom of my post, there'll be at least one hashtag that's just something stupid. You know, hashtag pickles. I don't know. Like, there's got to be some kind of critique in there or like sarcastic thing just to give me a vent. You know.
Yeah.
I've never paid attention to the hashtags on your stuff.
Oh yeah, no, that's a rule with me. I mean, there may be an exception now that I've got a couple hundred posts for over a couple of years. But if you go, some of them will be serious. A lot of them will be sometimes, and they'll be related. You know, pro wrestling, indie wrestling, whatever hashtag. But there's always got to be at least one in there that's either really like sarcastic or goofy or weird or cringy on purpose or like making fun of the post itself or other people. And it's usually like a really long hashtag. It's like a full sentence that wouldn't be
Oh,
a
no way.
something like that. There's always something in there.
Oh
I
shit!
might
I
have to go
bet Franco's
back
looking
and
right now.
check. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Well, it's another opportunity to just pack a little more entertainment into that post for the people who have absolutely no life. Just sit at
yeah.
home in Dr. Pepper and Prime and want to look down and read through hashtags.
Oh shit!
Some
That's funny.
Arsenal.
That's clever. That's clever. That's clever because like let's just say somebody's promoting yeah Prime or some shit, and
Yeah.
you did the hashtag Prime, then all of a sudden you go to the recents and it's just a picture of Arsenal flexing. It's like, oh, who's this guy? You know what I mean? You clicked it and it's like, oh, this guy's pretty cool or whatever. So it's pretty
Uh,
clever if you think about it.
I was telling Drew I'm gonna use this picture of you for whenever we do our graphic. So so you're prepared.
Yeah, no, that caption, that was actually a genuine. That was from the heart. I'm very glad that I'm a sober, healthy person now. You can tell from that picture, I look extremely healthy and happy and just good to go.
Before we end it, the last question is we're actually on serious topics right now, so might as well end it with something serious. What's the legacy you want to leave behind in or out of the ring?
Ooh, that's a tough one. yeah, it feels weird to think too much about it so early on in my career. At least I see myself as early on and young enough to where I guess it comes off. It could be narcissistic to be like, oh, this is going to be my legacy. But at the same time, we all got to have something to strive for. So I think for me, I was telling you earlier about one of the things I learned about this business is learning to accept red flags when there are red flags and, not waste your time and stuff like that. Hoping this is going to sound pretty generic and probably pretty similar to most people's answer, but hoping I can be there. I can be the person that I wished was there for me in times for other people. You know what I mean? I think that's the best way I can phrase that. That's something, my parents taught me. Like, it's a really just good policy to go through life. Like, hey, if you really wished someone was there on day one and just sat with you at lunch so you weren't sitting by yourself, or someone to show you how to use the new technology that you're having to learn and figure out on your own or whatever, like be that person for the next person who comes along. Right. So a lot of guys will say like, yeah, they want to make the industry better. And like, yeah, I absolutely do. But the specific approach I try and take is like, all right, what is it that some grizzly old vet did that I hated? And I want to avoid that thing. Or what's something I wish someone had helped me? Like, what are the cheat codes? Can I give the cheat codes to these newer people? So I'm not a vet. Not only am I not a grizzly old vet, I'm not a vet. I still consider myself fairly turquoise. Well, I won't call myself green. I'm turquoise. I'm lightish green boy. But even now, like, it's never too early to have that policy. So whenever new people are around, try and be as helpful and just not waste their time.
Yeah. I think there's something I changed my perspective on some stuff when I talked to you one time. I don't know if you remember this, but we're talking about goals, this and that, like long-term goals. And then we brought up, possibly getting signed and this and that. And then you right away were like, well, what if like not everybody, like that's not their goals. Like maybe we have our own goals or some shit like that. And I was just like, oh, you're right. Like I just think like the mentality, I think that everybody wants to make it at some point to a company, but not everybody wants to do that. So that just made me start thinking about, oh shit, that's right. Like maybe this guy wants to just be here locally, or this guy wants to just be just travel the world at least once or twice, whatever, any goal you want. So that just made me, I guess, go after so much a small goal, then a small goal, then a small goal, then keep going instead of just focusing on just one big goal.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's exactly what I was saying. I think thinking about your legacy too much, is maybe almost too ambitious too. Not just somehow, immoral or narcissistic, whatever, but just it's too far off to think about that type of thing. You want to think about one step at a time, one goal at a time. So there's lots of stuff I work on for myself, but if it comes to my, reputation or legacy in the industry right now, then yeah, the goal is just be as helpful to, newer people, I think, as possible, or just everyone else.
Yeah, that's good.
Like him. I guess send it off. You have a show this Saturday at RCW for the Future Legends Championship. What's your mindset going into that?
I'm the perfect guy for it because, like, you can be the strongest dude in the world, the fastest dude in the world. We talked about it earlier. Maybe the smartest guy in the world. You probably wouldn't be a pro wrestler if you're the smartest guy in the world. Point is, you're gonna have trouble in a 6-man scramble. And then once I win that, I gotta face the winner of another 6-man match. So got to be ready for someone else, and I can't be ready. I don't know who to get ready for because there's 6 of those guys in that match, 5 in the one with me, and then 6 more. So there's a lot going on. But guess what? That's the whole point of being bulletproof and having everything in my arsenal. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the best in any one category, but like I told y'all before, like pretty darn good at quite a few, if not all of the categories. So it's anyone's game, but I think if you had to bet on someone to be most well equipped and most likely to come out on top, I don't see why it wouldn't be me.
Well, sir, you have my vote.
Hey, there we go. That's all that matters.
I forgot who else is in it, but I can't think of anybody else besides you. So you got my vote too.
Well, that may be a problem with you, but it sounds like a compliment to me, so I'm going to take it.
I think Chris Marvel's in it and Don Juan. That's about all I know.
Yeah, they're in the other one. I know that they're not in the one with me. I know my guys because I had to insult everybody in a promo recently. I did for RCW, and if there's anything else anyone's going to take away from this podcast is that I love cutting promos, and I enjoyed the hell. I also like being a jerk, so I enjoyed the hell out of insulting 5 guys in like 45 seconds.
That's it with all the questions. If you want to plug your social media for your followers, I don't know why people wouldn't be following you already, but if you want to plug them. And the
Yeah,
shows you're gonna
pickles and peaches at OnlyFans. Oh wait, sorry. Okay, Alex Arsenal for Facebook is pretty simple. ALEX, and then Arsenal like the British football team. But because there's a British soccer team named Arsenal, if you go to Instagram, there's already a lot of Alex Arsenals. So to find me, you got to go ALEXX_Arsenal. There's 2 X's, right? Don't look too deep, Drew, into the X's. The
I was going to mention
don't mean anything. It's just there's a lot of British people who took that name before I got there. All right. Same thing on the TikToks. You got 2 X's on Alex Arsenal. You go there for some of those fantastic captions and pictures we were talking about. Sometimes you'll see pictures of me in my underwear in the wrestling ring. Sometimes me in my underwear at a photo shoot in a hotel bed. Sometimes me in my underwear just taking a selfie. Sometimes me in my underwear on the news. All right, you'll see lots of pictures of me in my underwear on all of my social media platforms. I promise.
You just got me thirsty. Just thinking about it.
Get some Prime.
You need to post more on TikTok.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah, for sure. I like being original. I like being original. I don't like stealing from other people, but I guess I can get into that, I guess.
Any upcoming shows you're gonna be at?
Yes. Yeah. So this weekend, if you're all tied up for some reason Saturday, or let's just say this, you're going RCW show on Saturday, but you can't get enough Arsenal. We got United Friday night. So that's the night before. So you're going to get 2 shows in San Antonio with Alex Arsenal. The flyers and all the info are going to be on my socials with some snarky hashtags and pictures of me in my underwear, inevitably. So you've got those 2 chances right there. And then coming up throughout the rest of September and October, going to be in a couple different places around Texas, up near Dallas, going back out to Mississippi. I got to defend my BIW Tag Team Championship. It's a gift and a curse to have championships from other states, a lot of traveling. So if you're watching this from Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and your excuse is, oh, Texas is too far away, boom, caught you. You don't got no excuse because I'll be out your way pretty soon too.
Nice. Love it. Franco?
That's pretty much it. Thank you for being on, man. Really enjoyed it. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace. Love.
Eat some pickles. Pickles. No, not tacos. Pickles.